What's going on, Ghost Squad? Trey here with Ghost Tactical, and today we're going to go through some dry fire drills. And what we're going to first do is explain kind of what dry firing is. And for those that can't get to a range or aren't members at a range or whatever, and you want to be able to practice and be more proficient, especially if you're new to the community, new to firearms ownership and all of that, then we're going to give you some chances and some ideas of how you can be a better, more proficient, and more safe shooter out there. So before we get going, we do want to make sure that the gun is clear, so the YouTube people don't freak out. The gun is clear and safe. So the first thing we're going to talk about is probably just a short overview of the grip and a proper grip and on all of that. So where people, if they're just buying their first gun, they might need some help. What we're going to do first is go over a good solid grip. So basically what you want to do is you want to get underneath that little beaver tail right there. If you can see, you want to get your hand as far up in there without having to worry about that slide. So you want to get that hand all the way up there, get a good tight grip on all that. So you want to keep your finger out of the trigger well, obviously, until you're ready to pull that trigger. But right there is a good solid grip. You want pretty good tension. And basically the best thing you want to do is do this. As far as a trigger, you want to have that first, put that gun down, that first part, for the first knuckle, you want to center the trigger basically right in the middle of that pad. So if we come in, we're going to have it centered right there on that pad. That's going to give you the best opportunity to make a nice straight pull trigger back. Okay, so at that point we've got our strong hand on. At this point right now, we want to try to get as much skin on the gun as possible. So what we're going to do with our weak hand is we're going to put here and we're going to rotate it and have our palm right here fit that area right there. So that now this right here is going to be as much skin as we can possibly get on that grip. So we're here. Now, some people are going to talk about grip tension. I am a big believer in gripping it tight. Now, not tight to where you're feeling you're going to strangle someone, but if you are that person, I promise you, you're not going to break the guns. Whether it's a steel frame gun or a polymer frame gun, you're not going to break that gun. So grip it as tight as you want, but over tension can cause some malfunctions. The best thing I can tell you is whatever you do, have equal tension with both hands. So that way the gun isn't going to move one way or the other because of tension with the gun and your grip pressure being off one way or the other. So we want to have equal pressure on both hands, but grip it as tight as you want to. I'd rather you have it grip it too tight than not tight enough. Does that make sense? So I want to make sure that we do that. So now that we've got the basics of the grip, then we're going to worry about aligning. Okay, so if we come right here, what we're going to try to do is line up that front sight in the middle of the rear sight to where it's right in the center and flush. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do, is get a nice sight picture focusing on that front sight. Okay, when you're aiming down line, aiming at a target, focus on the front sight. So everything kind of behind that is going to be a little bit blurry, but you should be able to still kind of pick out your target, focus on that front sight, get a nice trigger pull. That gun shouldn't move. So if the gun moves, it's either something wrong with your trigger finger is too much or too little, or your grip pressure is a little off with one hand or the other. So what we're going to do for the dry fire drill is we're going to go over a really good drill that will help and worry about grip pressure, trigger finger placement, and all of that. So let's get going. Okay, so right here we've taped up a target. It's got two targets on here. If you guys want a target, this will be in the description below. You can download it, print it out. It's a PDF, and it's a great little target for dry fire. Just tape it up on a wall or anything you want to. You can use anything for dry fire, but if you want to actually get with a target, this would be a good one. And basically what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about trying to figure out a good way to figure out if we have good grip, good trigger discipline with our finger, and all of that. So the best way to do this is to stand about an arm's length away, okay? And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our good grip, and we're going to come over here and we're going to get about a half an inch from the wall, a half an inch or so from the wall, and you're going to focus in on that front sight, take a good sharp sight picture of that target, get ready to shoot. And we're going to shoot. And we're going to try to notice when we get done, was our gun in a different position than what we were aimed right there in the bullseye. If it is, then it might be grip pressure, you know, with the right hand too much, or too much left hand, too much of a trigger finger, too less of a trigger finger, because they're all going to manipulate that muzzle and it's going to affect where the shot goes. So what we're really going to try to do is, once again, we get right here about a ½ inch away, get sighted in, and when we pull that trigger nice and slow, we don't want that gun to move to where it should still stay on that bullseye after you pull the trigger. So guys, dry firing is extremely crucial. It's very important to do on a daily basis, especially if you don't have access to a range. If you don't have access to anywhere else you can shoot, then you can always be more proficient every single day by dry firing. Only 5 or 10 minutes a day doesn't take much. You can do it while sitting, you know, in your chair watching TV. You know, pick out a couple bad guys on TV and go with it. But make sure, obviously, the gun is clear, unloaded, and cleared to where you're not going to send around down range inside the house or whatever. But as far as being more proficient, dry fire is the way to go. So guys, I hope this helps. Use this drill. There are so many more drills, but this is a really good drill that you can just get that good sight picture. Come right here, take that shot. Hopefully that muzzle's not moving. And if it is, then we might have some issues. But guys, make sure you're dry firing every day. If you can't do it every day, maybe 4 to 5 days a week for 5 or 10 minutes is really all you need. Just be more proficient, work on that trigger discipline, work on your grip pressure and everything else, especially if you're new to firearms. Welcome to the dark side, shall we say, and be more proficient. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and let me know, do you dry fire and how often do you dry fire? I'd love to hear the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, Semper Fi.